अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम, अम्मा बाद, फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। One thing that is also my observation for past many years, that is, whenever we are trying to educate anyone, mashallah, we are living in times of knowledge. Knowledge is one click away. If you want to learn something, all you have to do is Google, and this professor gives you all the information that you want. What we are supposed to do in parenting or generally as a Muslimah, we are all aware of it. But our challenge starts the moment it comes to how. And we are totally clueless about how. So this year, my target in my own self was, I'm not going to talk about why. I'm going to talk about how. In fact, there are a lot of forums when I go to, mothers are so much aware of all the parenting aspects. माओं को पता होता है पहले से ही, मैंने ये करना है, ये करना है, ये करना है. करना कैसे है? I know I should not be giving screen to my kid, but how? How to take that screen from his hand? I know my kid should not be eating junk, but how? So today what we're going to talk about is parenting dilemma. And today what I want to focus on is the cognitive dissonance. What is that? Inshallah, I'm going to explain. And I'm pretty sure that many of you would be aware of it. So what is our parenting dilemma at the moment? Discipline. It's a big challenge. Again, as I said, all the mothers, they want to discipline their kids, but they don't know how. That's a major question that people ask me. Child care, that's a big dilemma. How to take care of my child in this vulnerable world with so many challenges and so many ideologies that our children are exposed to. They're juggling with multiple needs. You have one child who is in teens, you have another child who is in tweens, you have another one who is crawling. You have one child with a challenging behavior, another child who is doing things so nicely and without intending to hurt anyone, you are making a comparison. बेटा तुम्हारा भाई कर लेता है, तुम्हारी बहन कर लेती है, तुम क्यों नहीं करते? That challenge is always there. Then the routines. Routines is again a challenge for the mother. How to establish a routine for a child? Habits. I had been working on the habits of my children since childhood. I used to put them to bed on time. I always gave them healthy food. I kept them away from screens. And suddenly my child is transformed. How? Has entered a rebellious age. बागी हो गया मेरा बच्चा. हर वो चीज मांग रहा है जो मुझे उसे नहीं देनी थी. I didn't intend to give this to my child, but things are going totally in a wrong direction now. And this is a parenting dilemma. We want our child to be respected, to be at the best behavior anywhere and everywhere. May it be a doctor's clinic, a toy shop. And that is why we find out that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Quran, in Surah Taghabun, verse number 15, Innama amwalukum wa awladukum fitna, wallahu indahu ajrun azim. Your wealth and your children are but a trial for you, a test for you, a fitna for you. And Allah has with Him a great reward. How do we have our children prepare for their exam, their test? That is a fitna for them. You give them the curriculum, you make them sit down and study it, internalize the whole ideology, ideas, practice it, go over it repeatedly. If they fail in a subject, you don't say, give up. You say, let's take another coaching class. Let's go to another expert. Let's talk to the teacher. Let's take guidance from someone who can tell us what to do about it. These are all the parameters that we follow. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already told us we shouldn't be in a panic mode. Test तो होना है. We will be tested. And if you look at this, we have been told about wealth and children together. And especially living in these times, challenging times, we can see this connection. Our kids, any age, want everything. They want food all the time. They want screen, the best smartphone, the best laptop. They want the best dress. They want to outstand in anything and everything. And that is becoming a big challenge. Parents, a lot of time, are just juggling with their financial needs and what they are going to provide to their children, even till university level. Even like taking them abroad and, taking care of their education. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala over here guides us, Wallahu indahu ajrun azim. With Allah is the best of reward, and that is what we need to focus on. Let's go a little step further. We are living in, again, more difficult times. And our more difficult time is the single parents. Their challenges are multiplied. Addictions, all forms of addiction, starting from screen to substance. What do I do about that? I thought I was dealing with the initial package, but wait a minute, my package is multiplied. There are a lot of abuses. And these abuses are in all form. Abusive relationship between parents, abusive relationship with the child, sexual abuse, name anything and everything. And then we have mental health challenges. Very small kids are going through anxiety and depression. Sometimes parents have these challenges and then nobody knows how to address them. And that brings us a step further. The parenting guilt. Parents, and especially moms, are tired of tantrums, all age. Starting from a toddler, going up to a teenager. Repeated reminders. You have to keep reminding your children, beta kitni dafa bataun? Beta 100 dafa bola hai. Beta phir bola hai. Sunte hi nahi ho. Then, study load. We don't know how to balance that. We want our children to be best achievers in this dunya and also best achievers in akhirah. And then ultimately, there is a constant fighting and bickering going on at home. The parents, they look at their kids, they want to love them, hug them, but they don't have a relationship. The children, they don't want to see their parents. Khush hote hain? Yes, I'm home alone. Amma abba chale gaye. Nobody to tell me what to do. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we feel this is not working for us. This is our dilemma. And if you look at a mom's brain, we find out that she is loaded with so many anxieties, questions, and issues. If we identify the roadblocks that we have, we in parenting go to two extremes. And that is something which should be among your checklist. Two extremes. One extreme is either I am not saying anything to the child, and the other extreme is I'm very strict. I have seen parents mixed up. आज कुछ नहीं कहा, कल सब कुछ कह दिया. Second is they discount, minimize or deny the child's feeling. And then they're confused about it. Third, we bribe. We go for external motivators, rewards. And that is why the children, they never develop self-control and discipline. And the fourth roadblock is negative consequences as punishments. That is again our major area. But over here today, I want to talk about, with all this happening in our life, about what's happening, what's cooking in my brain, which is called cognitive dissonance. This is a term the people who are engaged in CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, are very well aware of. This is something that the psychologists of today, the experts of today are actually working on, the thought process. They say even if you try to modify the behavior, but you're not working on the thought of a person, things are not going to improve. So what we need to work on is this cognitive challenge. Why our brains are receiving so many messages as a parent, and this is something cooking inside my brain, that my brain is actually rewired. And it is becoming the biggest roadblock when it comes to handling my children. I don't know what to do about it. So I will immediately bring you to the steps that we can follow and what is the practical solution for it. And I would like to spend a major chunk of my talk on that. ABC. Remember this. A is the activating agent, event, any trigger, something that happened, something that gave you stress, anger, anxiety, depression, hopelessness, something that made you give up as a parent, no matter how much you have worked on your children yourself. You are trying so hard, you're making all the duas. And C is the emotional consequence. And then there is a B in between, which is a belief. Usually, we relate A to C. पता है क्या? इसके अब्बा काम नहीं करते. मैंने हाँ बोला, उन्होंने ना बोला. Activating event, trigger. इसलिए C हो गया. The consequence. Something went wrong. नहीं, मेरा मसला नहीं है. मेरे ससुराल वालों का मसला है. Activating event. इसलिए C हो गया. The consequence. I feel helpless as a mother because I am living in joint family system. I am helpless because I am a single parent. I am helpless because my kid talks to me like this. I am helpless because I say yes, my husband says no. But what we need to understand and what we're going to work on today is this. B. You can't jump from A to C. There is a big B in between. And which is our belief system. What I'm actually believing in. I'm pretty sure many of you sitting over here would be thinking, and if I give you this opportunity to speak, you would say, नहीं, Dr. Kanwal, ऐसे ही है, मेरे मियाँ का मसला है. मैं आपको अपने ससुराल वालों से मिलवाऊं, उन्हीं का मसला है. आप नहीं समझ रही, मेरा बच्चा ही ऐसा है. This is the fault of my in-laws, my husband, society, environment, screen, TV, peer pressure. Yes, everything is there. But let's today focus on our belief system. So let's look at this self-talk that we have. Automatic thoughts, and the self-talk is automatic thoughts which come up when we are upset. Have you ever focused on your automatic thoughts when you're upset? Like one day I was working on this project and it was this close to completion. I was waiting for approval from my teacher. I received her email. I was super excited. I knew that this project is done. And the email gave me list of things that need to be addressed in that project. So my first automatic thought was, I'm not doing it. I had enough of it. And I sent message to 3 people, wrap up the project. That was my first automatic thought which came up. Second is, it occurs so rapidly you don't even notice it. It just happens. People are against me. People are jealous of me. Pakistan mein kuch nahi hota. Pakistani people are like that. I mean, you can come up with automatic so many things coming up inside your brain. And it profoundly affects our moods and our self-worth. The moment I had this thought, the next thing that came in my mind was, I can't even work on a single project. I have been working on children for such a long time. And look, this project has been criticized and picked on by some people who have no idea about child psychology, about how to work with children. And they are criticizing and picking on my work. This is my self-talk. But if I'm aware of that self-talk, this is actually what happened to me. I made duas, slept at night. I woke up in the morning and I said, wait a minute, that was my self-talk. That was automatic thought. That was negative thought. That was making me feel worthless. I worked on so many projects. Get back in shape. I said, I'm not giving up. And I worked on that cognitive dissonance Said, I'm not giving up. I immediately sent message to those 3 people saying, I have fresh ideas. Let's work on this project. And alhamdulillah, within 1 week, the project was done, accepted. But if I lived with my negative thought, kisi ko na wo milta. And I would have lived my life feeling that worthlessness. Okay, let's do a little activity over here. And let's build our mental muscle. What I want you to do is write 5 parenting challenges that you have. And if we have young girls, they can do the opposite. They can write 5 challenges they have with their parents because of which they are not able to develop relationship with them. Quickly. 5 challenges likhe. Parenting challenges. Okay, write down your thoughts about that issue that you have written down, the challenge that you have written down. What kind of thoughts do you have? Be honest with yourself. Why is this happening? And also check your feelings. Write down your feelings at that time. The thought and the feeling. Anyone can give me one example of a challenge? हम उसको केस स्टडी की तरह देखते हैं जी. Okay, siblings. When my children fight, I don't know what to do. What's the thought that comes to your mind? Many of the mothers would be having this thing. What's the thought? नहीं, वो तो आप एनालाइज कर रही हैं. Thought. Okay. Comparing them. ये तो आप सोल्यूशन पे जा रहे हैं. परफेक्ट सोल्यूशन दे रहे हैं. ये थॉट है. मेरा दिल चाहता है मैं दोनों को लगाऊं एंड ग्राउंड देम. भेज दो उनके कमरों में. दिस इज द इमीडिएट थॉट दैट आई हैव. या मैं अपने आप को मार लूं या तुम्हें मार दूं. दिस इज द थॉट, ऑटोमेटिक थॉट. इसके अब्बा सारा दिन चले जाते हैं, घर आके सिर्फ टीवी देखते हैं. He has no share in the parenting. मैं ही हूं जो ये सब कुछ सह रही हूं. This is the thought. देखा था इसकी दादी कितनी खुश हो रही थी जब ये लड़ रहे थे. जैसे ही बच्चे लड़े हैं, दादी ने फौरन अपनी बेटी के बच्चों की एग्जाम्पल दी कि वो कितना बिहेव करते हैं. This is the thought. The ground reality is, बहुत सारे केसेस में ऐसे हैं, but we are trying to solve. How do you solve it? You can't call your husband and say, kids are fighting, come home, give up your meeting, your work and be here. You can't do that. You can't look at your mom-in-law and tell her, are you making a comparison? वो तो sibling से बड़ों की लड़ाई शुरू हो जाएगी. You can't do that, So you have to have a practical solution. First, you have to identify your thought at that moment. And with the thought comes your feelings. How do you feel? When you feel that you have been guiding your kids, you have been telling them stories of Sahaba, companions of the Prophet, the love, the concept of brotherhood, which is from one Muslim to another Muslim, and then the Sila Rahmi, and what not. You are telling them, teaching them through the verses of Quran and a Hadith, and how they are behaving. What's your feeling at that time? What do you feel? Proud mom? Miserable mom? Frustrated mom? How do you feel when you have this thought that my husband actually never is party with me in parenting? I'm the only one struggling, making this struggle. How does it feel at that time? You feel like a victim. You feel like a victim. अब आप में से बहुत से लोग कहेंगे, नहीं यही मसला है, ये मेरी थॉट नहीं है, this is actually happening. Exactly, that's what we are going to talk about. Self-pity. You feel worthless. You feel sad. You feel depressed. You feel miserable. You feel hopeless. You feel like a loser. This is actual feeling that a mother or anyone who is going through an issue goes through.